All right, good morning, everybody. So,
Hello.
so this is a bonus. So my son has got his headset on. We got plugged in. I'm not sure how his microphone always seems to not be as loud. Say hi.
Hi.
All right, so we'll see if he comes through for everybody to hear. So he was really excited to come out and talk. So I thought, well, hey, let's just do one more tiny Road to the Apocalypse. This is like a bonus clip. So we just talked about ponds, lakes, and rivers, and we wanted him to come on and speak because he would talk to me and then I would just repeat what he said, but now he can interject his thoughts. So we're going to talk about random encounters and story vignettes, which are like plots, or at least that's how I read the word vignette. I don't even know if I'm saying it right. I'm not an English major. So, all right, so anyway, it says here, the world of the dead Linger is not stagnant. We will be adding story events that randomly occur during the game, ranging from military events to random survivor encounters. More information will be given as this feature develops. So what are your thoughts?
I only get thoughts from you talking.
Oh, okay. I generate the thoughts for him to build off of. Okay, so in my mind, the first thing that comes to mind is Project Zomboid has random events that occur. For instance, they have the random gunshot every once in a while, and that causes the zombies to go towards the sound of the gunshot, which sometimes is not cool because that happens to be where a player is, and you're like, oh, great, here comes the herd. Um, or I've seen it where I was watching somebody play where the gunshot went off and the zombies they weren't they were going through the area he was at, but they weren't going after him. So he just had to quickly go and kind of hide, wait for some of the herd to pass by as they went on towards the sound of the gunshot. They've also had like random helicopter sounds that does the same thing. The sound is generated randomly somewhere in the world, and within that sound radius, the zombies are drawn towards it. So just completely random like that. Now they have mentioned before where they wanted to put NPCs in the game, but if they don't have the NPCs, that would be one thing to do is just put random sounds.
I was thinking for that zomboid, basically, it's if they come towards you, it would probably be a helicopter passing over you.
hmm So if you've got, let's say, helicopter sounds, jet sounds, the thing though that we've talked about before is how realistic is it going to be to have helicopters, jets, airplanes of that nature? Helicopters made more sense. I, I'm not sure why would one would make more sense over the other. I think maybe because when I think of jets, you need big runways, and I'm usually thinking of huge, jetliners. So I don't think the passenger jets might necessarily be the ones that are traveling the most, but either small airplanes like Cessnas, the prop planes that civilians own, those are much easier to land and take off in. So I could see small planes possibly
Bomber
that go by.
jets,
A
but
bomber jet.
yeah, it doesn't have to be on the airfield since they're adding water. Probably could be on the ocean, like an aircraft carrier.
Oh, okay. So, and that was the other thing I was going to say was possibly military jets, because usually when you look at those zombie apocalypse movies, the army is usually has their bases.
Like basically in Left 4 Dead
hmm
2, they had in the intro they had the jets bombing the bridge.
So when we talked about islands, a definite military force could be maybe an off-screen carrier. I mean, we're not playing, Battlefield 4, but so you might not see those assets, but those could be programmed into the world as a thing. Military
Random
attacking,
bombings.
random bombings. So the military's coming in and they're dropping on her. Now, see
Blowing up your house on top of a house.
that would be so cool. That's right. Can you imagine if, like, our friend Nate put together the elaborate house finally and it stays, and then a random event was a military air bombing? So, you know, oops, that would definitely be an exciting thing to see, as a random event. All right, so let's see. Random encounters. So now, when we did talk about NPCs, that was just sound events talking about. But if you did have NPCs and you talked about random encounters, then one thing would be cool, I think we mentioned before, would be like the military convoys that go rolling through an area. hmm
One of the bomber jets crashing.
Okay.
Turbulence, crashing.
Oh, there you go. So, you could have that would be an interesting thing. A helicopter crash. Oh, okay. That would be exciting. Now, see, that would be a great use of an NPC, and that could possibly be fairly realistic. Is you have aircraft crash, and it makes me think of Arma. Arma 2 used to have, well, it still does have it, but I remember they had this
Crash
dynamic.
helicopter.
Right, they had a dynamic, like a sandbox environment that you could pull up as a campaign thing, and as you're walking through the world, random events would happen, and one of them was an aircraft crash, and then you could travel towards the aircraft crash, try to rescue the pilot or escort him to the, a secure area, and then you had enemies that were there. So something like that would be cool here, where the vehicle crashes. Like even if you didn't have helicopters, if you had like that convoy incident, for example, maybe not a convoy, but even just a single vehicle that crashes, like it rolled or something, and you
Yeah.
could go get the person
It would
and
basically
escort them.
like hit a rock, pop its wheels, and make it flip.
Yeah, hits the rock flips. So what would be cool is you don't have to make it to where it's like a mission per se. Like you go, um, not like a role playing thing. Go get five, rats, but you could say, okay, hey, this car rolls. You see it now. You don't have a radio, so all of these events that would have to generate would have to generate possibly within eyesight for you to see it. You'd have to know it's even happening. Then you travel towards the area, find the survivor, and then the survivor says, "Take me to grid location such and such."
I just had a great idea. Maybe you could actually, if the radio's not damaged, you could salvage it. And if you have if they add straps, you can attach a strap to the radio, like in crafting, attach a strap to the radio and put it on you so you can, if there's a military plane that crashed, help, help.
Yeah, and then then that would lead into another thing too. Is when the if you contact these military folks, you have your radio. If they come to rescue the person that you found, what are they going to do with you? Hey, thanks for finding our person, and good luck out in there. We're leaving you all alone now. Bye.
Or
You know.
probably, you're probably infected.
Oh,
They
that
start
would
shooting at you.
that'd be awful too. Yeah, let's check him for infection. Oh, he's got the virus. Shoot him. Yeah, that could lead to all kinds of issues too. So it would be interesting to see how they throw random encounters. If it's just sound events or actual dynamic things that happen that you can interact with. The NPC that's part of that mission. I would be more excited to see that kind of NPC interaction instead of just Trader Bob, who happens to be at this location in the world, and he's always there for you to trade items. But I think randomly generated mission NPCs would be much cooler.
Trader Bob on wheels.
Trader Bob on wheels, Well, see, and I could see that if you had at some really odd, determined times that this guy comes through on his Mad Max survival apocalypse zombie machine that finds you, stops, and you can maybe talk, and then he moves on as a random encounter.
Probably his vehicle would have flamethrowers and a big chainsaw in the front.
A big
Pull 'em
chainsaw, yeah, just
and burn them.
mow him down, shoot him
Burn
with the
'em.
fire. Yep. Some exciting things that you could see on his vehicle. So, lots of cool things that a person could do with random encounters and stories.
And also, they would be random every world you make. It would be 2 chainsaws, 1 flamethrower, 50 machine guns.
Well,
It would
shoot.
be random.
Why have it every time you generate the world? How about just every time he drives onto the scene, he has a new vehicle?
Why not?
There you go, because this guy, he's a trader, so he's always finding new things to trade with people. He's experimenting.
He's also, he's like, okay, this didn't work good, but what if this works best?
Yep, exactly right.
He'd, take off his weapons, throw them in the back. He had, his 50 machine guns, put them on.
Who knows?
Try it.
That's right. Let's try those 50 machine guns that are popping out like a little porcupine. Those are some dangerous quills.
Quills that shoot.
Quills
More
that shoot. Heck yeah. Ba, 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 ba.
Quills that shoot more quills.
That's right. So good stuff. So lots of cool things that could happen with the random encounters. Right now it says it's at 10% because I don't think they have any kind of random encounter other than the zombies. You know, if you want to talk about a random encounter.
Little refresh, they used to just either take them away or add like 50 zombies right in front of you.
Yeah, well, the thing with the refresh though now is, you know, they pretty much stay
Yeah.
static. So I would be curious to see, because speaking of random encounters, if you want to call the zombies a random encounter,
I'd like
it
to
would be
call-
nice if they were more thought out in the world and just don't randomly appear in front of you every time you load and exit the game. But if they have logical patterns of migration that walk through your area, and which they've started with the herds.
I'd like to call the world refresh a random encounter.
Yeah, the world refresh is a random encounter because you don't know what's going to happen with it.
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe 50 hails of May will fall on you.
Yeah, well, but if we're lucky, they fix the bales of hay. So,
Oh,
you know.
I love that.
I know. He likes that. Yep. I know a lot of people like that glitch, and they say they're trying to fix that and get rid of it. So,
Oh.
you know, I'll have to spend some time and actually go find a farm that's got the big bales of hay and see if it's fixed. So,
Oh.
I know it's
But they
okay.
actually didn't fix it with the little bales of hay, considering you saw them go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my little bales of hay. I mentioned that too. Yeah, the little bale of hay still had an issue. You didn't see that though.
And no, but
Uh-uh.
I did see. I was the first to see, and it was crazy in a rainstorm.
Uh-huh.
The big bales of hay, crazier than you saw it. It was like bales of hay going left and right, left and right.
Yeah, and
15 bales of hay all at once.
the only problem is I don't think those were supposed to be the random encounters they're talking about.
No.
No, no, but it was fun.
Yeah, it was really fun.
All right, well, I think that will wrap it up here for random encounters for today. So this is our Road to the Apocalypse bonus episode where my son got to provide some input. So I think in the future, when he's awake and cohesive and cognizant of being awake, we'll include him in some more stuff.
I'd like to do that.
Yeah.
To actually commentary with you during your actual Dead Linger Let's Plays.
Yeah, because I have my post-traumatic stress disorder, and if he gets in my peripheral vision, standing in my bubble, it bothers me, and I tell him to go away. But this will allow him to participate a little bit and not violate my bubble.
Your bubble's right here.
Right, I have a short bubble, huh?
Yeah.
Right.
Remember when it used to be up to here?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my bubble's gotten smaller. It's
Yeah.
better.
Basically, now I can actually sit next to you without
Yep.
bothering you.
Exactly. It's getting better. So this way he can actually participate a little bit and not bother me. So you will hear him more often.
I can't wait till your bubble gets all the way inside you so I can be with you all the time.
Aw. But, you know, the thing, though, is we'll have to listen and see how his microphone sounds because we might have to get him another microphone as
A
well.
bit better.
Right. Something that picks up the sound a little bit better.
Camera does.
Yeah, your camera picks up all the sound around, though. This
Yeah,
kind of
it
limits
does.
it to here. So, anyway, look forward to that. Some more tag teaming here on the episodes. Yeah, we might try this one over here, too. We got some microphones. We'll see how this works out. So, anyhow, we will talk to y'all later. Bye.